Hey everybody, it's Mark with the Crystal Chronicles, your Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia podcast, coming to you live on Twitch and YouTube every Thursday, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Not this Thursday, Thanksgiving here in the United States, but we will talk about coming to you on Wednesday, the Wednesday before Thanksgiving here in the U.S. Same time, same place, Twitch and YouTube, 8 p.m. Central Daylight Time. A little late coming, but haven't been able to upload anything, so this is my Boss Rush 6 Very Hard Run, or the Abandoned Laboratory. I am bringing full synergy and stomping it good, and so if you're struggling with this, that is the easiest way to do it. Of course, any of your counter characters in this first wave, definitely a great help, but we'll talk about that here in a second. Like, sub, ring the bell for notification. Look for my December tier list coming to you very, very soon. Hang around as we chat a little bit about the fight and just a little bit about DFFOO in general. So yeah, this first wave, these whales, not terrible. You need to do melee damage to tick the orb up, but the big thing is they get this aura, this white aura, where every time you act, whether it's an AA, whether it's a skill 1, skill 2, EX, etc., call ability, they then get to take an action. And so counter characters are really, really good here to kind of allow you to do a big chunk of damage and also protect you. So Galuf, Gladio, and of course Orin, who is the featured character, one of the featured characters and synergy characters on this, really do well. Core and Orin together, or really Core and Gladio, Core and Galuf, Core and pretty much anybody else, really do make this really cool. There are a lot of other strategies you can use on this fight as well, but those are kind of the basic strategies. Use your counter character, pair them with Core, and so there's just a lot of incoming damage through the preemptive strike and the follow-up. Of course, Bartz's job is just basically to sit there and enable the other two to do massive damage. So you see those whales are doing their attacks, we get an attack, and then the whales get an attack. Now Bartz needs to build up a little bit, and he will be able to do that here. But yeah, Orin is covering everybody. Core is just getting that preemptive strike because the whales will attack him occasionally or attack him and Orin. Anytime they get the all attack, it's the same way. Core gets those extra attacks, so they're not going to ever have any brave. They're getting a tick down through some other things. Various different debuffs that have been placed on them. If you really want to big brain this, you could try to go away with not using debuffs like Kurasame and Jack, because the whales will tick those down fairly quickly. I think I tried to space mine out just to get as much use of them as I could possibly, but ideally you might want to, like if you wanted to really up your damage, you would basically bring calls that were on your characters and not debuffs on the enemies. But at the end of the day, probably doesn't matter too much, and Kurasame lasts for a good 12 turns, so 12 turns of damage up, you're just not getting the max. Same with Jack, Jack's only 6 turns, so it might even be better to use Cabranth than Jack in this particular situation, or save Jack till kind of the end of the fight so that you have that defense down and that brave damage up. But with enough support, basically you're just going through the motions. You see I've only taken 8 turns. I've taken a lot more 17 actions, right? You get 30 turns, so 17 actions, plus I haven't used my summon yet, and I used Bartz's burst. I think I used 3 burst characters with this, and 3 synergy characters, so pretty much going the easiest way. I didn't use 3 BT pluses because I don't have 3 BT pluses. I did use 2 of my 3. I will have 3 shortly, but other than that, yeah, not a lot else to say on this wave. Again, there are some different ways to approach it, but I think for just the length of this fight, I mean, this is a half an hour fight. It's on double speed, so about 15 minutes here in this video. You really want to try to make it. You don't want to fail continuously on this wave. This one's really designed for 3 different teams, though. I think you'll see me bring this team into the next wave as far as I can, just because the Krakens, the Steam counts really don't become a threat. They don't counter melee attacks until they get under 50%. So you can bring this team into the next wave without much of an issue at all. But obviously, they want a melee counter team for this wave. The second wave is where they want your lightning or your thunder and water, Garnet. The third wave is where they want the big damage twins. But the first wave is melee damage. The second wave counters melee damage. So, they're really trying to get you to not just burn through it with 2 or even 1 team. You can do it with 2 teams. It is possible to do it with 2 teams, but there's no reason to, drive yourself too crazy if you don't have to. Just enjoy that. I think I was spamming core there because why not? He's doing good damage with his attacks, and I'm going to wait till apparently the very last minute to crack my summon, but that's okay. The only reason I did that is because I want to make sure I'm getting my damage with my BT+, which I hadn't done, so if I hadn't, you can't use your BT+ during summon, so there was no reason to do that. Now the orbs are ticked. I can't do any orb damage, so that's a good place to summon. Do as much damage as I can in summon, and then out of summon immediately switch teams so that I can bring Garnet in and do thunder and water damage. Obviously, if you bring other characters that have thunder enchant or water enchant, Rydia, Ashe, Cryo, or characters that just do that damage, they're going to keep upticking the orb, but the only way to keep the orb high is to do both elements. So the orb will kind of stay the same if you just do one of those element types. You'll be able to uptick it with characters that aren't doing that element type with other things. So yeah, I'm bringing my full magic team here. I'm not going to use any of Setzer's ranged attacks. Just going full out. There's no the calls at this point are melee, but they're above 50%, so it's not a big issue. So that's why I'm placing the calls as soon as they come in, because I want to make sure I don't get countered when I'm bringing in a call. You see Garnet's counter there, Garnet's follow up there. See the boat coming in. Not really sure I needed Setzer on this point, but there you go. So yeah, at this point we just go and go full steam. Go full steam ahead. That was a Steam joke. Steam joke, comment in the comment section if you listened this far and got to the Steam joke. If you remember what the Steam joke was. What's Steam joke? Go back, listen. Vaughn is going to just burn through his skill 2s here to get them into their full glory. And there was no reason to hold on to his burst at this point, because that builds him up and gives him some extra turns, and so he can burn into his skill 2 and start doing 750, 800,000 damage with his skill 2. Blind them, of course, which is nice as well. Big fat orb to the face. There you go, have that for dinner. Stupid count. Yep, and again, just spam and dive bomb. We're really not going to bring them too far into the next wave, because you really do need that big damage, and none of them are going to be hitting that. No, I guess Vaughn could have been hitting that 850, huh? With his skill 2, that is true, but we'll see. I don't remember how long I took them into that. They're almost dead here. I still have not used my summon, so I think I do probably give them a turn. I do give them some turns into the second phase because I can hit Rama and stun them so they don't get an act. I don't really want the next wave to act, and that's why I'm going to bring in Zenon and just continue to delete them, so it won't be an issue for me. But you do have to be careful because Zenon eats through turns, and his damage output at this point is not super great, if not paired with a lot of other good supports and damage dealers. So I had the twins, but I didn't have their BT at this point. And I think I brought Yuna in this last wave. Yeah, so the Steam counts are dead. That's not an issue at this point. It's just a matter of trying to kill them as efficiently as possible with the least number of turns. And yeah, you see I got one, but I didn't get the other. I was hoping to be able to get them both, and so kind of blew Von skill 2 there, White Whirl. Then the ESP dolls, again, you want to focus on the middle one, and you'll see it's close to having its all attack, and you really don't want its all attack out, so immediately summon Rama, stun them or paralyze them. Try to burn through as much of their health as possible. Their orbs come on the adds, and you want to keep the adds alive, and of course the orbs are massive damage orbs, so you need 850,000 across the 3. The twins are best at that as well, but I guess Vaughn could probably hit the orb as well. With the damage he just did, because he just did over 850,000. So, but I'm going to run out of turns by then, so it's not going to be that big of a deal. Yeah, you can also freeze Joker. Why not? Yeah, I think at that point I really don't want even. I think that they could have had a turn because they were paralyzed, but because then you lose the paralyzed if you bring the next team in. But yeah, I'm going to Sin Reigns. I do bring her back, so. I don't know the ads can be, maybe the ads can be paralyzed. But at that point, I was just trying to get B away, delete B. I do not want him to take a turn. The first turn would not kill me. The second turn is deadly. The recast attack is deadly without any mitigation. So there's no mitigation on this team. This is just big fat control and damage. Yuna with the support, Zidane with the control, twins with the damage. Obviously they're BT plus, a lot more damage, a lot easier, but they're fine here with their LD. Let's see how much damage they do with their LD. Yeah, a lot. That was a lot. It was a lot of damage. Zidane's going to get that extra turn. Yeah, so I was able to make sure that Yuna was able to act before them. Zidane gets his BT plus off, and then Yuna's going to go into her BT plus phase with Sid Reigns, and you're going to see even more damage, which is pretty fun. We'll see. I don't remember what Yuna's burst phase looks like, but it may be slightly more than Von's burst phase, which would be funny. Although Von wasn't at his best. He was building up, so give him a little excuse there. And I don't know that I do the AoE attacks. I think I'm trying to target the middle. So here's 2 AoE attacks. I am doing the launch with that. Okay, I am doing the AoE attacks. Okay, so I did choose that. Choose it, moms. Choose AoE attacks. Skill 1 is a single target attack, so. Or the Brave Plus is a single target attack. Energy Wave. Yeah, at this point, the ads need to take some damage. And you'll see, I'm going to kill the boss, obviously, long before. Look at that. Look at that massive 35,000 damage. You go, Yuna. Yeah, just around. Yeah, Von and Yuna doing about the same amount of burst damage. They're all burst characters. That's okay. That's okay. They did their job. I'll take 4 million HP damage, 4.5 million HP damage any day of the week, wouldn't you? Make this a lot more. Make sure this is maxing out. Yeah, look at that. 860s, 860, 870s. Very nice. Let me know how you did. Of course, if you're having trouble, DissidiaFFOO.com. Lots of great resources on the call to arms. You can come onto our Discord, tccpodcast.com. A lot of great things there. Check that out. At this point, I got the summon. It's going to be some launch parties. Big fat damage parties. Ooh, almost 1 million each. That's nice. Yeah, at this point, I'm just pressing whatever button I can that's going to do the most amount of damage. Not really thinking about it. Phoning this in. Not the hardest boss fight. Obviously, this is full synergy. This is 3 BTs. So if you didn't do any of that, it's a lot harder, but it is possible. But yeah, just kind of a marathon of a fight, longer fight. But that's okay every once in a while. It didn't seem that bad with 3 waves. You could have stopped if you really wanted to, take a break and come back to it. Feel like a different fight. And that's okay. I enjoyed it. I like Boss Rush. We talk more about it on episode 175 of the Crystal Chronicles on YouTube or your favorite podcast app. Hey, I appreciate you all. Like, sub, ring the bell. You can join our YouTube as well. Support us. And we'll talk to you all later, friends. Goodbye.